opportunity to say hello in the chat. You can take this opportunity to say where you're tuning in from in the chat. We've got 1 minute to go before this live hits the road. Let's go. To the live. First and foremost, before we even go deep into today's session, let's start by asking you a very simple question. And that question is, where are you tuning in from? Are you in the UK? Are you in the US of A? Are you in Australasia? Or are you in Asia? Are you in even Mother Africa? Let me know inside of the chat. I'm seeing the emojis blowing up at that. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let me know inside of the chat where you are tuning in from. Once again, are you in the UK? Are you in the US of A? Are you in Australasia? Are you in Asia? Let me know, let me know, let me know as we jump into today's session. This live is going to be one of those lives which gives you insights so you can make adequate, appropriate, hopefully, changes. Okay, now some people are not in the business of making changes. Some people want to stay in the same place for the rest of their life. That's okay. If that's you, this isn't the life for you. But if you're someone who's saying to yourself, you know what, Samuel, I've been waiting for a moment to see how I can get things working for me, specifically if you're interested in understanding the money math and having that finally explained in a way where it no longer feels strange, then this is the live for you. And if you're in the house and this is the live for you, just write the word me in the chat so I know that you are in the house. Now, we're going to give you guys one more moment. We're going to give you one more moment to let me know where you're tuning in from. Are you in the UK? Are you in the US of A? Are you in Australasia? Are you in Asia? Or are you meeting us from Mother Africa? Are you in the Caribbean? Are you in one of the Koreans? Let me know inside of the chat at that. Take this opportunity and let us know inside of the chat, where are you tuning in from? Where are you tuning in from in this live? Richard, thank you for deciding to follow the host. Let's go. And guys, you know, I usually forget this, so I'm going to say this right up front. If you hear anything throughout this live that makes you feel a little bit more alive, you know what to do. Hit like inside of the platform that you're on. If you resonate with something, I see UK coming in the house. That's Richard in the house. Richard, welcome in the UK. I'm also in the UK. And everyone else, let me know where you are. Are you in the UK? Are you in the US of A? Are you in Australasia? Are you in Asia? Are you in Mother Africa? Are you in the Caribbean? Or are you in one of the Koreans? Let me know inside of the chat so I can welcome you at that. Now, before I forget, as I mentioned, you guys remind me that I usually forget. If at any point throughout this live you hear something that's of value to you, feel free to hit the like button. Side by side with that, if you feel as though there's someone out there who could develop, who could grow, who could potentially even blow, and I'm talking about in a positive way, from hearing some of the things that you hear me say, feel free to hit share to show that you care so someone out there can get some of the value that we're sharing up in here. If that sounds good to you, just write the word good in the chat. If that sounds good to you, just write the word good in the chat. Now, it's the last call. Let me know in the chat where you're joining us from. Are you in the UK? Are you in the US of A? Are you in Australasia? Are you in Asia? Or are you in Mother Africa? Because straight after this, we're jumping straight into this live. This live is going to be one of those ones where we can't slow down because we have to cover so much ground. If you're ready for that, let me see the word ready in the chat. If you're ready for that, let me see the word ready inside of the chat, because this live I think is going to be slightly different. So today we're talking about money maths being explained. I'm going to explain in this live why so many people, let's get the lights on. Let's make sure it's time to win, right? We're going to explain in this live why so many people have been going through life with, I would call it strugglosity, okay? Strugglosity. You're attempting to get your money working at a certain velocity, but instead you've been experiencing what many people experience, which is strugglosity, right? Now, why are you experiencing strugglosity, okay? I'm gonna break it down and then I'm gonna get straight into the session, because I shouldn't even be asking this question up front, because this question up front is probably giving you all of the insights you need to succeed up front, but I want you to succeed, so I'm gonna give you everything you need up front before we even go into what we're gonna be sharing in this live. So, why are you experiencing strugglosity? This is a question that I often ask some of my new coaching clients when they come into my world. Have you ever thought to yourself, have you ever asked yourself, have you ever taken a pen and paper and written it down so it's plainer? Because the Bible says in Habakkuk chapter 2, it says, write the vision, make it plain so he who sees it can run with it. So have you ever taken a moment to ask yourself, why are you experiencing strugglosity? Why are your finances not working the way you desire them to work? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Okay, now I'm gonna say one thing to get us started. Welcome Joyce to the live. Welcome, is that Sarah or Sasha in the live? The names are super small from here, right? So say hi, and then your name shows up super big, and then I can actually welcome you appropriately, all right? So guys, feel free to just throw it in the chat. Hey Samuel, great to meet you. Samuel, my first time. Samuel, back again. Whatever it is, I'll be your friend. Let's go. Now, what most people don't realize is the reason they're experiencing strugglosity is exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's session. Today's session, for those of you who have your notepad, iPad, tablet, stylus, pen, paper, everything you need in order to succeed, today's session, if you want a title, is called Money Math Explained. I'm going to be explaining how maths of money works in a very simplistic way. So if you're one of those people who hated maths at school, it's okay, you'll be cool. All right, this is the right environment for you in order to move further, faster in your future. So if you're ready for that, just put the triple F in the chat. Further, faster for your future. Just put the triple F in the chat. Now, let's jump into that. A question you should ask yourself, a question often I see people not ask themselves enough, is why are they struggling financially? It's a question that should be asked, even for just a second. Why are you struggling financially? Let's go. All right. Raf, thank you for liking the live. Let's go. And for those of you who are hitting the like, you know what to do. Literally hit that like so we can hit 10,000 likes before the end of this live, because this live could potentially change someone's life. Let's go. I don't know about you. It might change the life of the person over there at the back, okay? But guys, I'm telling you, this live is going to be something different for those of you who are taking note, all right? So let's go deeper. A question you should start by asking, right? Because Albert Einstein said something profound. He said, you cannot solve a problem using the same intelligence that was used to create that problem. Okay, I'm going to say it again in case you need to pick up your pen. Albert Einstein said you cannot solve a problem using the same level of intelligence that problem was created. Now, Samuel I Can Win says, until that level of intelligence is hated, that level of intelligence will not stop creating what it created. Hope you understand this. Albert Einstein gave us a key. He said, if you are dealing with a problem, it's the level of intelligence you use to create that problem that is the problem keeping the problem around. And as I've shared with you, Samuel I Can Win says you have to hate the actual level of intelligence so you can shift things to a new place of relevance. So a great question to start ourselves off with, right? Welcome, Catherine, I believe it says, right? And everyone who's jumping in, guys, as you jump in, just say hi, just say hi. Like, I'm super old school. My dad raised me super old school. I got to greet people when I meet people. So just say hi in the chat, okay? Hi, Samuel. Welcome, Samuel. Good to meet you, Samuel. Good night, Samuel. Right, Samuel. Good morning, Samuel, wherever your time is, right? Hey, I'm from the UK, right? Just write something in the chat so I can welcome you right back. Now, Albert Einstein gave us that insight. And one of the things I often ask my coaching clients to do is ask themselves, why are they struggling financially? It's a question to ask yourself, which most people never ask themselves. Now, I'm going to tell you one reason you are not struggling. All right. And guys, for those of you who don't know, if you're new to meeting me, my name is Samuel Akanwini-Kimwin. I help people create consistent and colossal cash flow using resources and revenues that are hidden in plain sight. In fact, there's teachers out there that will tell you they'll help you become financially free in 8 to 20 years. But me and my team, we help people do that in 3 to 12 months. And we got receipts for those of you who want to know. Okay, so if you're new, that's just my little introduction, right? So feel free to hit like if you hear something you like. Feel free to subscribe, become a part of the tribe, and feel free to hit share so you can share what we're talking about in here with someone out there. So if you can show them that you care, they can get in here and hear something in here. Let's go. Now, I'm going to read something to you, right? I found this verse of scripture a number of years ago, right? And guys, I'm going to be sharing stuff from the Bible because that's where I get the real value from. I don't make this stuff up in my head. This stuff was in my Bible when I woke up this morning. Now, the reason I want to share this with you is because I heard a pastor say a message. This was about 15 years ago. And this message, in the words of Jim Rohn, turned me every which way but loose. What do you mean, Samuel? This is what I mean. When he shared this verse, it helped me realize that God is not a part of the curse. Okay, I'm going to say it again. When he shared this verse, it helped me realize God's not a part of the curse. For most people suffering, struggling financially, they're suffering and struggling financially thinking God is the one with the responsibility. Watch this. This is going to change your life. Hopefully, if you're like me, this changed my life. All right. This is Psalm 18 verse 43. And we're just reading this to lay a foundation. Someone write in the chat the word foundation. Let me know that we're on the same page. We're just reading this to lay a foundation. Okay. So if we're going to lay a foundation, what's a good foundation to lay? I submit to you that the best foundation we could lay is the words of what I believe is the King of all days, right? Not the King of today, but the King of all days, the King who's been King always, okay? So this is why we're going to start reading from the Bible, right? Just so we can have a clear, conscientious understanding of a foundation of how this all works. Because before we start explaining the money math, you have to understand the foundation on which you are trying to do the math. So let's watch this. Psalm 18 verse 43. If you got a Bible, you can turn there with me. I'm going to read it to you. It says, "You have delivered me from the strivings of the people." Now I could go deeper on that, but I don't think I need to. As a matter of fact, I want you to just think about those words. That's a single sentence which changes what 99% of people who call themselves Christians have ever believed about money, have ever believed about health, and have ever believed about wealth. Let me ask you a question. If you're a parent like I am, and you take your child to school, and the head teacher asks you on the first day of school, "Hey, how intelligent by the time your child ends school would you like your child to be?" Okay, someone tell me in the chat what your answer would be. All right, how intelligent by the time your child ends school with us would you like your child to be? Now, I ask these questions about education because I used to be a teacher. I actually used to be a teacher trainer, so that's why I'm really, really tuned into education. But I want you to think about this for a moment, right? Have you ever asked yourself, if someone asked me, how intelligent do I want to be, what would my answer be if I was to answer thee? Okay, let's go back there. Psalm 18 verse 43, it says, "Thou hast," it's Old English, right? But thou means you, and he's talking to God, right? He says, "Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people." What does that mean? That means God's part of the deal is to get you out for real. So God's on your side, right? Let's start with that foundation. God is on your side when it comes to understanding the money math. This might be why you're on this live right now, because God's on your side right now. Okay, if someone's happy about that, just write in the chat, I am, so I know I'm with the right people. Now, let me ask you a couple questions before we go deeper. And that verse might be a verse you just want to keep in your purse for the rest of your life. Psalm 18:43. So whenever you have stress, whenever you have trauma, whenever you have drama, you can remind yourself of the reality that he has delivered you and me from the striving of the peeps. You don't have to go through what everyone else goes through when you've got the one who knows you. Oh, someone's going to catch that today. Let's jump in. Here's my question. Have you ever felt like money just slips through your fingers? If that's you, just put the word yes in the chat. If you've never felt like that, you can feel free to throw in the word no. But have you ever felt like money just seems to slip through your fingers? If you've ever felt like that, throw the word yes in the chat. Or alternatively, if you've never, you can fill the word no in the chat. Let's go. All right. And guys, there's no point in hiding and lurking in the back, guys. There's no point hiding and lurking in the back. Write your answer in the chat. Let me see. Let me see. Because this used to be me. This used to be me. All right. And let me tell you something, guys. You cannot get assistance from someone who can help you if you don't allow them to help you. All right. I just want to share that with you. So what we're going to do in this live, I'm just going to share with you some of my encounters and experiences, not from my own life, but literally global stories, things that have happened in this world that you're going to be able to know about. And you're going to be saying to yourself, oh my gosh, Samuel, I never knew that was my story. So now's the time. I'm inviting you to engage because this is going to help you, right? If you start to engage from the start, you are going to take this away like an art. Okay, so that's my encouragement. That's my invitation to you. Start right now. So I'm going to ask the question again in case you just went away for a moment to grab a pen. Have you ever felt like money just slips through your fingers? If you've ever felt like that, even for a day, even for a moment, okay? We're in the month of May. Those of you who are brand new, you're like, yo, this guy likes rhyming. Yes, every single live, guys. Every single live. It don't stop. It don't change. Let's go. All right. Have you ever felt like money slips through your fingers? If that's you, just write the word me in the chat or write yes in the chat. Let's vote. Let's vote right now. Let's see what's going to happen on this poll. I would like to see if this poll is going to go sky high with the yes or if the poll is going to say stay so low with the no. Okay, I'd like to know. All right, we got one honest cookie in the house. Let's go. All right, who's that? Factors TV. Factors TV, welcome to the live. It's been a while since you've been on a live. Factors TV, remind me of your name, please. Remind me of your name. You guys know me. I'm super old school. I like addressing people by their name. I don't like using internet names that don't mean anything. And, you know, I don't even know who I'm talking to, right? So Factors TV says me. Thank you, Factors TV, for sharing your response. Anyone else, guys? Anyone else who's ever felt like money, ever in your life, ever, right? If there ever been a time in your life where you just felt like money slips through your fingers, all right? Money slips through your fingers. Have you ever felt like that? Has that ever been a situation that you've gone through where you just feel like, you know what, why does this money keep slipping? Or let me even use a stronger word because some of you might need the stronger word to resonate with what I'm talking about. Have you ever felt like money keeps pouring through your fingers? Pouring through your fingers. It's even pouring at night when you're snoring, pouring through your fingers. Anyone ever felt like that today? If that's you, just put a yes in the chat. If that's you, just put a yes in the chat. Let's go. Oh my gosh, let's go. This is getting super real. All right. This is getting super real. Okay, we got answers flowing through. Let's go. Let's jump into this. All right. So Ayush, Ayush, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. I love that. I didn't see what you said until I put the comment up. Is my government name. I love that. All right, so we got government names in the house. Let's go. All right. Now, Ayush said a comment which is even more important. Ayush says they can't even get a job as well. Okay. Now, this is going to be very, very relevant to what we're going to be talking about. Not necessarily getting a job, but you're going to see, guys. You guys are going to see. You guys are going to see. All right. So I don't want to delay any time. I want to add value to you guys as much as I can within the time allotted. So because of that, we're going to jump straight in. All right. Here's my second question to you. Have you ever felt like the pool of money out there is not big enough for you to get some in here? Have you ever felt like that? If that's you, just write I have in the chat. If that's you, just write I have in the chat. If that's you, just write I have in the chat. All right. I want to understand if I'm the only person who's ever felt like this, or if there's other people who've also felt like this, all right? Let's go. YS says, laugh out loud. They're about to get fired. They're due to be in the same boat as Ayush. That's absolutely amazing. YS, you were on the live recently. Please remind me of your name. Please remind me of your name. Please remind me of your name, all right? I don't have my other device to check my chat messages, but please remind me of your name so I can again address you appropriately. All right, so this is good. The reason why this is so healthy and wholesome already is because people are already sharing their situation is very similar. This is Sean. Welcome to the live, right? So we got Sean who's saying, listen, they're about to lose their job. They're gonna probably end up in a similar situation as Ayush. Ayush is saying, listen, can't even get a job, right? Can't even get a job. Now, the first thing I want to share, I just want to be very transparent in here. We are not talking about jobs right now. We're talking about money, we're talking about wealth, we're talking about riches. Some people generate their money through means of a job. Most people do not, okay? And let me correct myself. Let me say that very accurately, because I know some of you like taking notes when I speak, right? Most people do not accumulate wealth with their job, okay? That's what I'm actually attempting to say. So please forgive me for what I said a moment ago. Many people make money using a job, but they accumulate wealth using a vehicle, okay? Most people may make some money using a job, but they accumulate wealth using a vehicle. If someone would like me to explain that to them, just put the word E or the letter E or the word yes in the chat, and I'll explain it to you very quickly before we go into what we're talking about. So if you're someone who's just jumping in right now, I asked 2 questions to get us started. The first question is, have you ever felt like money just slips through, or even deeper, pours through your fingers? Have you ever felt like that? So if you haven't answered that question, you can throw your answer into the chat with that. The second question I asked is, have you ever felt like the pool of money out there isn't big enough for you to get some in here? Okay, if that's you, you can again just write yes in the chat or me in the chat, right? Now, what I want you guys to understand is that is by design. I'm going to say it again in case you need to pick up your pen. That is by design. It is not an accident that most people in the world feel as though they don't have enough money in their world. It's not an accident. It is not an accident, right? And today, I'm going to explain to you the math of money so you never have this problem again in your life. If someone's happy about that, just write in the chat, I am. If someone's excited about that, just write in the chat, I am. If someone's saying to themselves, Samuel, if you can give me the key foundational framework so I can start doing the right math with my money, you will be helping me. Just write me in the chat, okay? I just want to know if this will be helpful for anybody today. Because if it will be helpful for you, then it's of value for me to share this with you. But if this is not helpful to you, then it's of no value to me to actually share this with you, okay? Now, I'm gonna say something to get us started, which you may be uncomfortable with, but I want you to, if you give me a moment, give me a second, embrace the information, potentially become comfortable with, because this, if it's correct, is gonna be a game changer for you. Now, if I'm wrong, and Elon Musk is wrong, and Alan Sugar's wrong, and Richard Branson's wrong, and every other wealthy person you know across the globe is wrong, and the reason I can say all of those names, because all of those names are leveraging what I'm about to show you very soon. If I'm wrong and all those people are wrong, it's okay. We can all be wrong, and you can be right. I'm happy for you to be right. Because statistically, there's a 50-50 chance, right? They say it's 50% I could be right, 50% you could be right. But if I'm right, you need to come on over to my place, okay? You need to get on my side of the 50-50 so you can start to win, all right? Now, if you guys are ready, if you're ready, you've got rid of the distractions and you're saying, Samuel, now it's time for action. If that's you, what I want you to write in the chat is done. Just write the word done in the chat. Done, right? Done. If just someone saying to yourself, you know what, Samuel, I'm hearing you. I actually believe if you're going to show me how the math of money can be explained in a very simple fashion, you know what? I'm done. I'm done wasting time. I'm done trying to rhyme. I'm here and I'm ready to get my life getting into its prime. Just write the word done in the chat. Let's go. All right. Prompt Me Academy says done. Let's go. Who else is going to say done? Who else is making a declaration today? Prompt Me Academy, please, if you can, let me know your name so I can address you properly throughout this live. All right, I'm super old school. I always ask for people's names. That's just the way I live this life. Let's go, right? So guys, who else is done? If you're done, just throw the word done in the chat as we go deeper, because I'm about to show it to you right now. We're about to get rocking and rolling without any more strolling. We got to take those baby strollers off. Let's go. Now, here's the assertion I'm going to make to you that you may not be ready to hear, but I want you to take it away from here, okay? I'm going to write it out just in text so that you guys have it, right? And I want you to understand what I'm sharing as I share it with you, because as I mentioned, if you haven't been living understanding what I'm about to share with you, you have been living subpar. But if you start to understand what I'm explaining to you and you start utilizing it, you will be living much more further, faster. Let's go. Money, okay? Money is just like water. Here's the problem. The problem for most people, the reason why there's a point in me even doing a live right now, the problem for most people, the reason why so many people are on the financial struggle bus, the reason why so many people are struggling, even though I read to you guys Psalm 18 verse 43, which says, you have delivered me from the striving of the people. What does that mean? That means I don't have to live how everyone else lives. I've got a God on my side trying to assist me to make sure I don't live how everyone lives. I don't know if you've seen those basketball games back in the day, right? Let me even show you this. I'm gonna draw it for you, right? Back in the day, you have those basketball games, right? I want to show you this. And you have the net here, okay? You got the net right here, okay? And the net is right there with the backboard there, okay? Big net, really high. And you've got one guy here who says, you know what? I'm gonna throw it up to you. And they throw the ball up in this direction. And when they throw it up, here's what happens, right? You are up here, you jump. They call that an alley-oop. And you know what you do? You slam dunk that ball. Okay? This is how, according to Psalm, we read this a moment ago, 18:43, your life is supposed to be. The Bible says in Psalm 18:43, you have delivered us from the striving of the people. What does that mean? That means you've gone out of your way to do the work, so what I do is supposed to work. Oh, someone needed to hear that again. I'm going to say it one more time in case you needed your pen. You've gone out of your way to do the work, so what I do is supposed to work. So here's a good question. Why is it still not working for so many people? Okay? Ophi decided to follow the host. Thank you, Ophi, for deciding to follow the host. Ophi, let me know how to pronounce your name properly, please, just so I can make sure I'm doing that appropriately, right? I want you to understand how this works. Most people are living lives of quiet desperation. Statistically, mathematically, you can go and do the research and you will find that most families are less than 30 days away from bankruptcy, from wipeout. And then, whilst most people are going through that kind of situation, I want you to listen to this, there are other people who are living different lives. There are other people who are not just trying to survive. There are other people who in their life, they are reigning, winning. They have the wins reigning in their life. They have medals and medallions. They're living life like stallions. So here's the question, why not you? Why not you? If it's true, according to Psalm 18, the verse that comes after 42, verse 43, he's delivered you from the striving of the people. So why is that not your story? I'm going to tell you why it's not your story. Because nobody taught you what I'm about to show you today. Nobody shared with you that money is just like water. Now, I understand this. I understand I'm saying something you may have never heard before. So I understand for some of you, you're going to feel uncomfortable right now. You're going to be feeling like, Samuel, what are you talking about? Money is just like water? How can money be like water? Money is nothing like water. Okay, let's go. Is everybody ready? If you're ready, let me know if you're ready. Okay, if you're ready, just write the word ready in the chat. If you're ready, just write the word ready in the chat. If you're ready, just write the word ready in the chat, and we'll just start breaking this down. We'll just do it layer by layer by layer by layer. And then as you get all of the layers, guess what's going to happen? You are going to become a financial slayer. Let's go. Okay, let's jump in. Now, guys, money, okay, let's go. Money is just like water. Okay, let me ask you this question. Water, if you go to a sea, you will see waves. A wave is a byproduct of a current. Okay? A wave is a byproduct of a current. A current. That is a strength within water pushing it in one direction. But what happens? The water that was already there in another direction splash together and create a cause, and that is based on a current. We call them waves. Those waves are byproducts of a current, okay? But here's what's interesting. The root word that tells us and talks to us about this conceptual idea of a current is the same root word that we later have our good friend currency. Okay? If anyone's starting to see the connections, just write in the chat, I am. If anyone's starting to see the connections, if anyone's saying to themselves, oh, sorry, I never thought about that. I never thought about the fact that the foundational root of water that shows up in a form of a current is connected, even in linguistics, to the conceptual idea of currency. Okay? All right, now, I'm going to show you some stuff that you may have never seen before. I just hope you fasten your seatbelt and get ready to go, okay? Because this vehicle may not be able to go slow. I'm just telling you. If that's okay, just write in the chat, let's go, okay? If that's okay, just write in the chat, let's go, because we're going right now. Water. We see water engages in the form of a current, and we know that the root terminology for current is the same root terminology that we have with this conceptual idea of currency. Currency is finance. Currency is the reward on labor. Currency is revenue. Currency is utilized in order for people to get wealth. Okay? Currency, okay? Now let's go into this, right? In order to share this with you guys at the level that I want to, I'm gonna have to share with you a word in Hebrew, okay? And some of you guys are not ready for this, but it's okay, right? Now, a few things I'm gonna share just so you understand what's going on here. Firstly, in English, we write from left to right, okay? So a word like water is written from left to right in English, okay? But in Hebrew, text is written from right to left, okay? If this makes sense, just put yes in the chat. Just let me know if this makes sense. Letters are written from right to left in Hebrews, right? So this is right and this is left. We go left to right in English, but we go right to left in Hebrew. If everyone's okay with that, just put yes in the chat. I just want to make sure that I'm not losing you guys by going too fast, okay? Right, now, let's go into this, okay? This word I just wrote down in English is the word water, okay? This is the word water, okay? This is the word water. Now, let's write the word water in Hebrew, and then we're gonna look at a few things, okay? So, the word water in Hebrew is a word called mayim. I'm gonna write how it's pronounced first, just so you know how it's pronounced. It's pronounced like this, mayim, okay? Now, mayim is actually spelt using Hebrew characters with the first being a mem, okay? A mem, then a yud, the yud, and then another one, which is a mem, okay? So these three characters, mem, yud, mem, like I said, in Hebrew, you write from right to left, okay? So we're going from the right side to the left side in order to write our characters, right? Our characters from the Hebrew alphabet, okay? So we have three characters which mean water or which spell water in Hebrew. Now, Samuel, why are you using Hebrew? Why are you breaking down Hebrew? Why is this relevant in Hebrew? The reason why is because I believe Hebrew, the original Hebrew, not the Hebrew they use now in Israel, etc., but the original biblical-based Hebrew, I believe, is God's language. And because I believe it's God's language, I believe there's secrets inside of the Hebrew language that most people miss on a day-to-day basis unless they go and check it out. So guess what we're doing? We're checking it out, because I just told you money is just like water. I just said to you that water flows in the form of a current. And I said to you, if you look at the root foundational words of the word current, you get the root foundational word of the word currency. And currency is what you call to me money. If this is making sense to someone, just put yes in the chat so I know this is making sense. Let's go deeper. So water is mayim in Hebrew. Mayim is spelled mem. Let's use a highlighter real quick. It's spelled mem, yud, mem. Okay, three characters. Mem, yud, mem. Spell mayim, which spell water, or which share water, says water in Hebrew. Okay, now let me ask you this quick question. I'm going to rub out the pronunciation, right? Let me ask you this quick question. Is there another way that you could say water without writing the letters W-A-T-E-R? Okay, let me know in the chat. Is there another way you know that you could say the word water without, okay, I want you to think about this, without writing the words or the letters W-A-T-E-R to spell water? Let's go, right? First answer comes in. prompt me academy, says H2O. Okay, now this is absolutely 100% correct. So let's bring this in, right? Another way to say water without actually writing WATR is by using H2O. Now, prompt me academy has written H2O, but H2O is not H2O like it's written on the screen, right? So let's break it down how it's supposed to be, okay? The reason we have H2O is because H2O is actually 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. Okay? If that's correct, someone write in the chat the word yes. Samuel, that's correct. You're right. Water is 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. Now, most people do not know what I'm about to show, but like I said, fasten your seatbelt. I'm going to move this, right? I'm just going to move this out of the way quickly. I'm going to move it to over here, and then I'm going to use it to illustrate something, to show us something, right? Let me show you something about H2O. H2O, which we've said is water, which we've said in Hebrew is mem yud mem, pronounced mayim, okay? So in Hebrew, if you want to say water, you say mayim, okay? And if you want to spell it with Hebrew characters, you spell it mem, which is this character, yud, which is this middle character, and mem, which is this third character, okay? Hopefully everybody understands this. Hopefully this is super clear because we're going to go from here. Now, let's take this concept H2O. Let me tell you something about H2O. If you scientifically look at the arrangement of the molecules, the hydrogen molecules and the oxygen molecules, this is how they show up scientifically. They show up in the form of a H, hydrogen molecule, an O, an oxygen molecule, and then a H, another hydrogen molecule. That's H2O. That's how it shows up scientifically. Okay? Is this helpful to anyone, or do I just geek out on stuff that nobody's actually gonna get any help from? Someone tell me if this is helpful, right? Because this is the key to why most people are losing with money, because most people just don't know where currency truly comes from. So as a result, they don't have an understanding of how currency is truly supposed to be utilized, how it's supposed to be managed, how it's supposed to be multiplied, how it's supposed to be, oh Lord, there's so much. Let's go. Now, does anybody recognize anything interesting about the 2 things that I've just illustrated? Okay. I said to you, we're going to be looking at the math of money explained. I said to you, the way we're going to explain how the math of money works is we're going to be sharing with you a concept. And I shared that concept. I said, money is just like water. Thank you, Damien, for deciding to follow the host. Let's go. I said, money is just like water. And then straight after I said, money is just like water, I said, let's look at water, right? We spoke about very quickly the concept of a current. A current is something that we have associated with water. And then we said the root word for current, we get the word currency. And currency is what most people are trying to lay hold on. So it would be interesting if we understand that the root word for current, which is associated with water, is connected to currency, which is associated with money, to start understanding a bit more about water to help us move further faster in our future. If this is making sense, someone write in the chat, yes. So I know this is making sense. Or shorthand, you can just put the letter Y. So I know this is making sense to you. Let's go deeper. So we see water. I asked the question, how does water show up in the world? Okay. When I asked how does water show up in the world, let's go. All right. I had Prompt Me Academy. Prompt Me Academy. I don't know if you let me know your name. Prompt Me Academy, let me know your name, please. Ekumola. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Ekumola says, yes, this is making sense, Samuel. Thank you, Ekumola. Damien says, yes, this is making sense, Samuel. Thank you, Damien. Appreciate you guys, right? So this is making sense. Now, if it's making sense, can we go deeper? If we can go deeper, someone just write in the chat the word deep, if we can go deeper, right? Because if this makes sense, now we can move on. Now we can get to the good stuff. Now we can actually have the math of money explained. Because the problem for many of us is we don't have this foundation, so it becomes very, very difficult for us to move deeper into the lanes of the nation, right? How can you go deeper into understanding the math of money if the basic foundation has never been laid for you? Okay? I remember studying my first master's degree. I studied a master's in statistics at one of the best universities in the world, ranked 7th in the world at the time, University College London, right? When I studied my master's in statistics, let me tell you something, I would have failed on day one if I hadn't first studied an undergraduate degree in computing and statistics first. If this is making sense to someone, just write yes in the chat so I know this is making sense to you guys, okay? Ekomola says, yes, you pronounced it perfectly. Thank you, Ekomola. Appreciate you, and it's a pleasure to have you on the live. Ekomola, let me know, is this the first time you've been on a live with me? If it's the first time you've been on a live with Samuel I Can Win, just write in the chat first time. If you're back again, and you're one of my friends, and I didn't actually know that you were here before, just write back again, all right? So I can know that you've been here before. Let's go, right? So guys, let's take this deeper. If we could take this deeper, someone write in the chat the word deeper. If we could take this deeper, someone write in the chat the word deeper. So we've discovered that water shows up in the form of a current. We've looked at the root word of the word current and seen that it's also the foundational word for the word currency. We've said there must be a connection based on that between water and money. And as a result, I just said to you, money is just like water. And now I'm starting to show that to you through means of these frameworks. But in order to show it to you, I can't talk to you about the pure English. I have to go into the root of this stuff so you guys can get this. So where did I go? I went into the Hebrew. I said, in Hebrew, how do you write water? You write water, mem, yud, mem. Okay? What is mem, yud, mem? Mem, yud, mem spells mayim. That's how you say water in Hebrew. And the mem, yud, mem is shown by a mem, a yod, and a mem. Those 3 characters, or 2 characters, showing up in this way, in this formation, show us water in Hebrew. Then I asked the question, simple question. The simple question I asked is there a way that I could say the word water without saying the word water? And we had, who was it? I think it was Damien. No, we had Prompt Me Academy, who said in the chat, H2O, which was absolutely amazing. And I said, yes, H2O, but H2O doesn't show the way Prompt Me Academy wrote H2O. How does it show? It shows the way I then wrote on the screen H2O. This is how H2O actually shows. Because it's 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen. And then the next thing I did is actually describe to you how scientifically it shows up. If you look in a microscope, the molecules of hydrogen and oxygen literally show up like this, okay? Now, I really geek out on this stuff, so I could go even deeper, but I'm going to stop there because I don't know how many hyper interested people we have on this live. So let's go deeper with this. So hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen. Now, does anybody notice anything interesting here? If anybody notices anything interesting, just write in the chat, I do, okay? Okay, write in the chat, I do. Let's just see. All right, Ekomola says, not my first time on your channel, but it's educating. Deed knowledge, like. But it's educating. Oh, I like. Okay, great stuff. And I think that was deep knowledge. Let me know, Ekomola, if that was what you were saying. Not your first time on my channel, but it's educating you and it's deep knowledge you like, okay? If that's the case, let me know. All right, and welcome. It's great to have you back, all right? Yes, she said, I meant deep. All right, good stuff. All right, we're in the right place. All right, so let's go deeper. So I asked you guys, do you notice anything? So nobody said anything yet, all right? So let me share with you what I noticed the first time I realized that in Hebrew, water is spelled mem yud mem. The first thing I noticed is that the Hebrew construction of water, mem yud mem, is the exact same as the scientific construction of water. You have this character, mem, but you have this molecule, hydrogen. Then you have this character, the yod, and you have this molecule of oxygen. Then you have this character, which was the same character we had first, which was mem, but then you have again the same character that we had first, which was a molecule of hydrogen. And I looked at that and I thought to myself, wow. And then what I did is I turned around and said the same word again. I said, wow. I thought to myself, this is super interesting. It must not just be a coincidence. How can the Hebrew word for water be constructed in the very same way as the actual molecules of water? This fascinated me. Now, I don't know if this is fascinating to you. If this is fascinating to you, someone just write in the chat, it is, just so I can know, like, I'm not going to ask, am I crazy, right? But I just want to know if I'm the only one who finds things like this super fascinating. Because I find stuff like this super fascinating, guys. I'm just telling you, I find it super fascinating. So this is what kind of really took my attention when I first engaged with this, right? And then it got better, okay? If anyone wants to see how it can get better for you, just write in the chat, better, 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 because it got better, it got better, it got better, it got so much better. Now, I'm gonna now break down for you the maths of the money, because I want you guys to have this. I want you to take this away, and I want you to be able to allow this thing to get you paid, okay? Damien says, this is definitely fascinating, Samuel. Amazing, right? Damien says, yeah, let's make it go better. All right, so let me show you how it gets better. This is how it gets better. When I recognized what I just showed you, it helped me recognize the first mathematical thing I needed to realize about money, okay? Because just like water produces current, and just like that current is the route to currency, and just like I discovered that money is just like water, it helped me start to see the properties of water, which showed up for me as the properties for money. Okay? If anyone's ready to find out, I don't know how much time we're gonna have on this live. I might only be able to get through 2 or maybe 3, right? Someone write in the chat the number 3, right? Just write in the chat the number 3. Let's go into at least 3 of these properties so you guys can walk away from this live knowing at least 3 things you can do to develop finances for you. Okay? Because I want you guys to be in the best position of your life. And let me tell you why. Because he has delivered you, he's delivered me from strife. I remember when I was in a situation where my whole life felt like I was in a perpetual place of procrastination. And I understood that it was small keys like these that open up big doors, that changed my life. Me recognizing that, you know what, I don't want to be the person who's sitting at the back anymore. I don't want to be the person who can't open the financial door. I don't want to be the person who knows that on the inside I feel like I'm so close, but on the outside I feel like it's impossible. I just got tired of being that person. And let me tell you what happens when you get tired of being that person. You start doing something the Bible talks about in Matthew chapter 7. You start seeking. You stop searching and you start seeking. You stop looking and you start seeking. And when you start seeking, oh, Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 comes with a promise. It says, seek and ye shall. Someone finish the end of that verse for me, please. Seek and ye shall. Let's go. So that's what happened for me, guys. And I know some of you are seeking. That's why I go live. I'm going to be very transparent. The reason I go live is because I know some of you are seeking. And I want to partner with God and make sure that you can find. Thank you, Ekamola. I want to partner with God and make sure that you can find. I don't want you seeking like I was seeking and ask yourself, is there anyone out here actually speaking? Instead, I want to be an answer for some people. So when they start seeking, as Ekamola said, they can finally find. Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. So if you guys are ready to find, just write me in the chat, 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 and let's jump into this right here, okay? The first thing I discovered about the math that helped me understand money, it's a simple key. It's a simple key. And let me tell you something about the key, okay? Ekamola, thank you for deciding to follow the host. We appreciate you, okay? I see those me's coming in. Damien says me. Ekamola says me. Let's go, right? I want you guys to understand something, right? I said to myself, you know what? I can see something here. Some people can't see anything here, but I could see something here. Let me tell you what I saw. The first thing I saw was the first property that helped me when it comes to money. Samuel, what's that first property? Look at what we just said. We just said in order to write the word water, we have a mem, we have a yod, we have a mem. Okay? In order to look at the actual scientific molecules that make up water, we have a hydrogen molecule, an oxygen molecule, and a hydrogen molecule. What do you see here? I'm going to tell you what we saw. The first thing I saw was this. Water, I hope you're ready for this. Water, I don't know if I should even share this with you. Water, someone write in the chat the word water. Let me see if I get the word water enough in the chat. Let's go. Guys, I don't know if I can even share this with you because of how powerful this is. This is the first property that helped me understand money in a whole new way. So I no longer had to play and I could make money work for me each and every day. Someone throw the word water in the chat. Ekomola comes through first. Water. Let me tell you something about water. Here's the first thing that you can learn about water which will help you with your money. I said we have mem, yud, mem. Mayim, water. We have H, O, H, otherwise known as H2O, water. First property that helped me change my life about money is I realized money is reflective. This was a game changer for me. Money is reflective. How did I find that? Look at the words. The moment you realize that money is like water, you can start studying water and discovering things about money. And that's what I started to do. There's a book, there's an amazing book. The book is called The Hidden Messages in Water, all right? I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that book, just write I have in the chat, just write I have in the chat if you've ever heard of that book. Joanne, thank you for deciding to follow the host. We appreciate you, okay? I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that book. If you've ever heard of that book, just write I have. The Hidden Messages in Water, okay? Zishan says, hi uncle, hope you're doing well. I wanted to ask if you could give any investment management advice. We can give a whole bunch of insight, hindsight, foresight, but I don't know if we can give financial advice. I don't know. I don't know how the world of that stuff works, but direct message me and I'll see if I can help you. Let's go. So no one said that they've heard about this book, The Hidden Messages in Water. But look, let me tell you real quickly about this book, right? There's a book that was written a number of years ago by a scientist. This scientist, Oriental scientist, studied water and found that water had messages inside of it. He even found that if you spoke negatively to water for a long period of time, okay, that water would actually corrode over time. And if you spoke positively to water over an extended period of time, that water would actually improve in vitality, in virtue, and in health over time. There were hidden messages inside of water, actually living within the molecules of the water. So what does that mean about your money? Oh, someone's going to catch this. The first thing I discovered about money that helped me understand the math of money, that helped me be able to change my game, Damien says 100% true, is that money is reflective, because water, ladies and gentlemen, is reflective. Now, I know some of you are going to have a hard time to understand this. So if you're someone like me who reads the Bible, I'm going to help you right now. Let's go and show you what I'm talking about. Proverbs chapter 27, okay? Now, I generally read a chapter, a minimum of a chapter of a book from Proverbs every single day. A coach I connected with around 22 years ago said to me that that's what they do every single day. They said there's 31 chapters in the book of Proverbs and there's 31 days in the longest month. So what they do is every single day, they'll read at least one chapter in Proverbs. So today is the 27th. So guess what I'd read? Chapter 27. Watch this. I'm going to share something with you from Proverbs chapter 27. And you could tell I read my Bible. I don't know if you can see this because of the, but you could tell I read my Bible. You could tell I read my Bible. Okay. You could tell I read my Bible. Okay. Hopefully you could tell. I don't know. You tell me if you could tell. Let's go. I tell people all the time, I search this book for secrets so me and my clients can get paid. I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you. And when I say paid, I hope you guys understand this. I'm not just talking about money. I'm not just talking about money. Yesterday's live is about money, the math of money being explained. But I'm not just talking about money. Some people need more than money. Some people are going through things that are funny. And the money is never going to be enough to solve the problems that you're dealing with, which are funny. I'm telling you guys, I'm just going to keep it real. Can I keep it this real? If I can keep it real, someone write in the chat the word real. Just let me know. Watch this. Proverbs 27 verse 19. I want you to listen to this, right? I told you that I discovered that water is reflective. And because I understand that money is like water, what does that tell me about money? It tells me money is reflective. And because most people don't realize money is reflective, their reflective nature of money gets neglected. But in this life, if you understand what I'm saying, your reflective nature of money can start to get perfected. Let's go deeper. Proverbs 27, I'm going to read verse 19. Verse 19 says, as in water. Okay, so we're talking about water here. Proverbs 27, verse 19. As in water. If we're talking about water, because someone put the word yes in the chat, right? Because guys, I want you to understand, I didn't make this stuff up. I didn't wake up in the morning and say, hey, this is how it's going to be. And that's most of our problem. Most of us have the problem of us trying to figure things out by ourselves, instead of us finding someone who's already figured it out and just asking them, can you give me the roadmap, please? Instead of finding someone who's already taken the 70 years to learn what you would have to take 70 years to learn, but gives you the course, the program, the training, the coaching, the mentoring, the life. So in 7 hours, so in 7 minutes, you can get what it had to take someone 70 years to learn. What would happen if you stopped waiting the 70 years and you got all of the information inside of your gears instead of 7 years, or instead of 7 hours, or instead of 7 minutes? Let me tell you what would happen. You'd be a time traveler. See, most people don't understand that. Most people don't understand how to time travel. I'll teach you how to time travel. Go and get one of the oldest books in the world and go and take the secrets from that book and start living them in your life today. And you will be looking like a time traveler. People will be saying, how'd you get those results? Where'd you get those results? I never knew those results were still available for people like us in this year. And that's when you can share with them, I got those results from staying up in here. Let's go. Proverbs 27. Verse 19, it says, as in water. What does that mean? That means just like water. Listen to what it says. Face to face. Now, if you've got one of those Bibles with italics, if you've never learned this, you're going to learn something right now. When the Bible has italics inside, that means the interpreters, the translators put those words inside. Okay, so any words you see in a Bible which are italic, the reason they're italic is because they're telling you the interpreter, the translator of that translation put those words to assist the reader to understand. Okay, now one of the things I started doing about 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago now, is I stopped reading the italics, right? Because I just wanted to see, like, what does it actually say without the italic? And when I stopped reading the italics, let me tell you what happened. I started seeing things that I never saw before. So watch this. It says, I'll read it with the italics, then I'll read it without the italics for you to see it for yourself. It says, as in water, face answereth to face. Now, when you say face answereth to face, it makes you feel like we're talking about two different people's faces. But when you take out the italic, the word answereth, you see, as in water, face to face. Now, what's that? That's reflection. Listen to what it says at the end. It says, as in water, face to face, so the heart of man to man. This verse tells you that water is reflective. So if water and money are just the same, what does that tell you about money? Someone told me in the chat, what does that tell you about money? And I'm going to tell you a little secret that you might not be ready for. Money is great at reflecting. And because of that, we need to get clear on what we are correcting. You see, earlier on in the live, I said to you guys, I'm going to be sharing with you how the math of money actually works. And guess what happened? I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm going to show you what happened. Okay? Sean says, laugh out loud. He's about to get fired and he's due to be in the same boat. Same boat as who? Same boat as Ayush, who said he can't get a job. Do you know why Ayush is talking about him not being able to get a job? Do you know why Sean is talking about the fact he's about to get fired? Because they haven't realized what needs to be corrected when your money is acting as though it's not been perfected. Money is reflecting. It's great at reflecting. So what we have to get good at doing is knowing what the right thing is we need to be correcting. If you're looking in a mirror and you see on the other side of the mirror a stain on your shirt, you don't start rubbing. Oh my gosh, someone just caught that. I literally felt someone. If you just caught what I said, just put it in the chat. That was me. I want you to think about this. You don't look in the mirror and see a stain and start rubbing the mirror. You see, some of us have challenges financially and start trying to rub the mirror. What use is that? Money is so good at reflecting, we have to get good at knowing what we need to be correcting. You don't need to correct the mirror. The mirror is only going to show you what you gave it to show you. If someone understands what I'm talking about, just write in the chat, I do. You don't need to you don't need to do anything to the mirror. The mirror's fine. The mirror is fine. Money is fine. Money doesn't need a CPR. It doesn't need the two pads. Clear, pop, clear, pop. Money doesn't need that. You and I might need that. I hope someone's getting this. I don't know. Am I getting so excited on my own, literally sharing with you guys some of the keys that change things for me? Because I'm telling you, when I discovered that money is just like water, when I discovered that water is reflective, but so is money, guess what? Things started changing in my life. Because I stopped trying to rub off the stain on the shirt in the mirror, and I started realizing the stain was right here. And guess what? When you remove the stain right here, the picture in the mirror becomes more clear. Oh, someone picked that up. What would happen if you stopped thinking about whether you had or didn't have a job? What would happen if you stopped thinking about whether you were or weren't going to lose a job? What would happen if you realized the right thing to be correcting is the thing in front of the mirror because money is only reflecting? What would happen? What would happen? I want someone to tell me in the chat, what would happen for you? What would happen for you? What would happen for you in your own personal private life if you realized money is reflective? It's just reflecting. It's just reflecting. So if you feel poor, it might be because the habits you've been employing are those of the poor. If you feel stuck, it might be because the habits that you've been participating in are the habits that are habitual to those who are stuck. If you feel like there's no way out, it might be because without a doubt, you're seeing a reflection of consuming mentalities, mindsets, and methodologies of people who feel like there's no way out. Am I helping somebody? Let me know in the chat. I want you guys to understand something. In 2004, 22 years ago, let's go. Sweet Constructive Vibes is saying this is true. Let's go. In 2004, 22 years ago, I got my first ever personal development resource. Okay? My first ever personal development resource I purchased in 2004. That's 22 years ago. Squared Shapes said, listening. Let's go. I want you guys to understand this. 2004. Would you like me to show you? If you'd like me to show you, just write in the chat, show me the first ever personal development resource I ever bought in 2004. Let me tell you my story a little bit. I don't like talking about my story because my story is not your story. So sometimes I don't really like talking about my story. But if you'd like me to share a bit of my story, which might help you, just write in the chat the word story, right? Just write in the chat the word story. And I'll give you a little bit of my story and you'll see what I'm talking about. Damien says, show me. Let me show you. It's right here. Let me show you. The first ever personal development resource I bought, okay? This is after I started reading the Bible. I turned 18, 19, I started reading the Bible, my life started to change, right? Let's go. Sweet Constructive Vibe says story, let's go. Okay, everybody wants the story. Show me dog. Let's go. That is says, sweary, sweary or see. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Sorry, guys. Listen, everyone who's jumping in, guys, let me know your name. Let me know your name so I can actually address you properly like a real human being. Let's go. In 2004, I bought my first ever personal development training resource. It's right here by me. It is called the 1 Minute Millionaire. Okay? I bought this in 2004. Okay? You know why I bought this? I'm going to tell you why I bought this. Because at the age of 17, I was sent to prison, ladies and gentlemen. At the age of 17, I was incarcerated. I celebrated my 18th birthday in a prison cell. And then I was released. And when I was released, I wanted to change my life. I just didn't know how. So let me tell you what I did. I did what my mom and dad told me I was supposed to do. The first thing they told me I was supposed to do. Let me keep it real. Let's see. Okay. I said my story is not your story, but it may be that my story is your story. Let's go. The first thing I decided to do at the age of 18, I was released from prison. That was the second time I was sent to prison. I celebrated my 18th birthday in prison. I was released from prison. After being released from prison, I wanted to change my life. I didn't know how. So let me tell you what I did. I said, what did my mom and dad tell me that I should have been doing that I wasn't doing? That got me into this problem. The first thing is, my mom told me I need to take my faith seriously. So you know what I started doing? I started reading the Bible, okay? Someone write in the chat the word Bible. Let's go. I started reading the Bible. Listen, guys, I am the least preachy person you're ever going to meet, right? I'm not here to preach you. I may be here to teach you, but I'm definitely not here to preach you. So this is not about being religious. I'm not attempting to be religious. I'm just telling you what worked for me. Okay? So if that's okay with you, just write yes in the chat. So that's why I talk about my Bible. That's why I tell you the lessons I get out of this book, the basic instructions before leaving earth. That's the reason why I do that, all right? And for those of you who didn't catch that, that spells Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth, right? The reason why I study the Bible is because when I made that decision at the age of 18 to change my life, I didn't have an answer. I didn't know what to do. So guess what I did? I said to myself, let me do what my parents told me to do. My mom used to tell me, take your faith seriously. So you know what I did? I started reading the Bible. When I started reading the Bible, I remembered my dad used to tell me education would change your life. And I realized if education would change my life, I need to get educated. So guess what I did? I went and started to pay my money to buy resources. And the first ever training resource I ever bought, the first thing I ever bought in terms of personal development was this CD set. Some of you guys might even be too young to even know what CDs are. These are CDs, ladies and gentlemen. Let me show you what CDs are, because I don't know how young this audience is. I assume everybody's my age, but guys, these are CDs. These are called compact discs. That's a CD. It's a multiple CD set. All right? I didn't even buy the book. Those days, I didn't even read. I didn't even know I could read. I could read and I didn't know I could read. Imagine that. Imagine that. I was 18 years old. I was released from prison the second time. I didn't even know that I could read, even though I could read. Now, some of you I know are saying like, wait, what? You didn't know you could read even though you could read? What does that mean, Samuel? I'm going to tell you. Listen, I have to tell you guys at the back. I can't even tell you guys at the front. Because if I tell you guys at the front, you're going to think I'm crazy. I'm going to tell you the reality, right? If you know how to read, but you don't ever read, then you're in the same boat I used to be in when I was 18. You don't really know if you can read. That's what I mean. You see, when I was 18 years old, released from prison the second time, wanted to change my life, I said, you know, what did my parents tell me I should do? My mom told me to take my faith seriously, so I started reading my Bible. My dad said education could be a key, it will change your life. So I started investing in training and resources that could change my life. The first thing I invested in was that 1 Minute Millionaire training program. Help me. Just help me see the world differently. Help me realize that not everyone is from London. Help me realize that not everyone's from the UK. Help me realize that not everyone's going through life in the same way. Help me realize there's people out there on the staircase to millionaireship, whilst there's other people out there on the staircase to doom and gloom trying to run away from their own room. That's what I just started to realize. Let's go. Naxoft, let me know your name so I can address you properly. Naxoft said, absolutely fine. We learn from people's experiences as well. Thanks for sharing. You are most welcome. I'm always willing to share. You are most welcome. Naxoft, let me know if this is the first time you've been on one of my lives. Let's go. So guys, this is one of the things I started to realize. Listen, if it's going to change, I have to change. Why? Because I didn't know at the time that money was reflective. I just knew I had to change. So I started working on me changing. And as I started working on me changing, guess what? The reflection began to change. I stopped going to the mirror and trying to shift the stain on the shirt in the mirror by rubbing the mirror. I stopped going to the mirror and trying to change the shirt in the mirror's color by touching the mirror. Guys, you can't unbutton a shirt in the mirror by touching a mirror. What did I learn? I learned I had to do the work. I learned I had to change. And everything that I see in the reflection will change. If someone's getting some value right now, just write the word value in the chat. Let's go deeper. So the first thing we discovered is that money is just like water. And the moment we realize that money is just like water, what did we do? We start unpacking the principles of water, the properties of water, so we can start seeing principles and properties of money. And the first one that we discovered is that money is reflective. And this is helpful because the moment you realize money is reflective, guess what? You stop complaining about the reflection and you start focusing on the thing that needs correction. Okay, let me say that again in case you need to pick up your pen. The moment you recognize that money is reflective, you stop complaining about the reflection and start doing something about the thing that actually needs correction. Okay? Let me know if this is helping someone. Let's go deeper. Second thing I discovered about money. Money is not just reflective. Money is also directive. Samuel, what do you mean money is directive? I'm going to give you a super clear example. Hope you guys are ready. If you guys need an example, just write yes in the chat so I know you guys need an example. Okay? You see, some people don't realize in their life, right? There may be a massive sea right near them. Okay? And because there's a massive sea right near them, let me tell you what they do. They take for granted all of the water available to them. But let me tell you what a few other people do. A few other people will say, hold on a minute. I can see that there's a sea right next to me. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start creating a little path. We might call that a river. We might call it an opening. And we do this by creating what we call a dam. And this dam allows the water from the whole of the sea to begin to flow to you and to me. It makes something abstract to become useful. Okay? This is where most people go wrong financially. Most people are like person A. They want to leave the sea to flow its own way. I want to encourage you to be like person B, who's the kind of person who builds a system so wealth can come to you and me. Don't be like person A. Don't leave the water to do what it's doing in its own way. Instead, tap in, create a dam, create a system, create a way that the water can flow to you. If someone understands what I'm talking about, just put yes in the chat. Listen, guys, let me ask you this. Why do you think the word or the words is cash flow? Do you know what cash flow is? It's cash being directed to flow to you, which is how you start to understand that water and money are both directive. They're directive. They can be given a direction. Once the thing in the reflection has been focused on for correction. Someone's catching this. Let me give you a verse. I told you guys, I've been studying this Bible. This is how I find these keys. Let's go. I'm going to read this from Proverbs chapter 5. I want you to see this, okay? Guys, I want you to understand this. I didn't make this stuff up. I just discovered it. I'm just the hopeful, helpful recipient who was able to find this. Let's go. Proverbs chapter 5, I'm reading verse 15, okay? Listen to what it says. It says, drink waters, listen to this, drink waters. Oh, I don't know if you're ready for this. I don't know if you've ever read this verse before and not seen what it's actually saying. It says, drink waters, Proverbs 5:15, out of your own cistern, and running waters out of your own well. So what does that mean? That means I should enjoy water. I should enjoy money from my own systems, just like I should drink water out of my own cisterns. And running water, that means heavier flowing cash. If you want to break it down like this, listen guys, hope you understand this. This is not, like I said to you a moment ago, I'm not trying to preach you. This is not spiritual interpretations. These are biblical, mathematical, financial applications. Because if all principles work in all cadres of life, you can take a principle that works in one cadre of life and leverage it into another cadre of your life. The same way I discovered that water and money are similar, I can start looking at the properties of water, looking at the principles of water, looking at the powers of water, and understanding how I can leverage them utilizing money. It says, drink water out of your own cistern. It says, and running, flowing water from your own well. What does that mean? I'm going to tell you what it means. It means money, just like water, is directive. So instead of having a J-O-B, and this is not me saying quit your job tomorrow. This is not me saying don't have a job. This is me saying understand the purpose of your job. Because your job is you going to a sea just to get enough for you to be. Instead of you understanding, I can create a dam. I can create an opening. We can create a flow so we know where the money intends to go. And if you do this well, understanding that money is reflective and understanding that money is directive, let me tell you what happens next. You don't just let the money go, you end up getting good at helping money grow. Because you start understanding, wow, okay, if I can put this in place, then what will happen is the flow of the sea will come to me. And as the flow of the sea comes to me, I can put a dam right here, which will make sure that no matter what's going on, I'm always going to be able to turn the tap on or turn the tap off or get the resource in or oh, someone's catching this right now. This is the problem. This is the money math that no one explained to you. This is the reason why people are struggling, even though there's a God, according to Psalm 18:43, which I read to you earlier, who's committed to deliver you from the striving of the people. Who's already said, you know what, he's not in the business of making you lose. So if you're going to lose, that's on you. That's up to you. He's going to give you the answers. One of them is Matthew 7:7. Seek and you shall. Someone throw it in the chat again. But some of us don't want to seek anymore. Some of us don't want to know anymore. Some of us don't want to go anymore. Some of us don't want to grow anymore. Some of us have got so comfortable being comfortable that now we've changed our surname to Mr. or Mrs. Comfortable. And as I often say to my closest friends, if you live life casually, you'll become a casualty. You see, when are you going to make that decision to go to your finances and finally create an incision and say, you know what, I'm cutting into this now. I'm going to make a change now. I can't do this for another 40 years and have nothing to show for it. I met a lady in 2019. She was sat in the audience as I did a presentation on how to build wealth using property. I sat down at the end of the presentation. She was free. There was two people between me and her. She was 3 people away from me. She moved her seat and sat next to me after I finished presenting. And she said to me, excuse me, do you mind? Is there a way I can take you to dinner and just talk to you, please? I said to her, that's not a problem. I said, let me call my wife. I called my wife. I said, hey, Queen, there's a lady here who heard me in my presentation and she's asking to take me to dinner. Like, are you cool with that? She said, yeah, I'm cool with that. I said, cool. I went to dinner with this lady and her friend. And at the end of that dinner, the lady said to me, I felt something telling me when I heard you presenting that I need to spend time speaking to you. This is the reason why I asked you if I could take you to dinner. And now, being in this Lebanese restaurant, eating food, talking, discussing, breaking things down. I saw that, Rose. Who was that? Who was that? Damien. Thank you for the donation, Damien. We appreciate you, champion. And guys, look, I always forget to do this. Guys, thank you, Damien, for reminding me. Guys, if you hear something that you like, you know what to do, press the like. If you want to be a part of this tribe, all you have to do is hit subscribe. Okay? Press the follow so that you don't lose this opportunity to hear this kind of content tomorrow. Okay? These are platforms, guys. These platforms are here to serve you. Don't be the person who sits down, gets value, and then tomorrow, oh, who was that guy again? What was he talking about again? Hit follow, guys. Hit follow. Hit share. Show the people out there that you care so they can be in here and get some of what they're hearing in here as well. Okay? You know what to do. You know what to do. Okay? I always forget to tell you. So you know what to do. Okay? His word, my peace. Thank you for deciding to follow the host. Let's go. Okay? And guys, to those of you who comment, to those of you who hit like, to those of you who hit subscribe, to those of you who hit follow, look, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys. Because you're telling the platform that this is the kind of content that people like you and I need to thrive. Okay? So let's go forward. So we had dinner. At the end, she tells me that, you know what, there was something inside her just telling her that she needed to spend time and talk with me a little bit more. And that's why she asked me to dinner. She said she doesn't usually do this. She's a married woman. I'm a married man, right? She doesn't really usually do this. And it was her and her friend at the event. So her and her friend was with me. We went to dinner. Then at the end, she spoke to me about her situation, about her finances, about her properties, about her portfolio. This woman had £4 million worth of property. And she was making less than £3,000 a month. Do you know why? She had no cash flow. You see, some of you tune into these lives, but you haven't made a decision to make an incision. You haven't got to where that woman got to in 2019, where the thing inside is telling you, oh, I need to connect. I need to do something. I can't just watch this live and take notes. I need to do something for the value for which it denotes. If that's you, direct message me. Samuel, I'm in. Okay? Samuel, I'm in. Because, and guys, if you want to know what you're saying I'm into, just for the, if you're like me, you might need to know, what am I saying I'm into? You're in on your future getting brighter. And not on your future looking how it's looked in what I call the cycle of similarity. You're fed up with the cycle of similarity. Every single morning you wake up, life looks the same as the day before. Every single morning you wake up, you don't want to get out of the bed, pressing snooze, pressing snooze, pressing snooze. You're pressing snooze like it's an emergency number in your phone, like you're calling someone who's going to rescue you. Guess what's going to happen? Snooze can't rescue you because money is reflective and money is directive. Oh, someone's catching this. Proverbs chapter 5 verse 15, it said, drink water out of your own cistern and flowing water out of your own well. What does that mean? That means when we understand that there's a river, there's a sea, there's a way for finance to come to me, we have to go and create our system. We have to create a well. We have to create a dam. We have to create a way for that money to flow in our direction. Here's what I'm going to advocate to you. Focus on building a directional dam and not living with depleting drains. I'm going to say it again in case you need to pick up your pen. Focus on creating directional dams. I have spent the last 12 years coaching other people on how to create directional dams. And here's the funniest thing. I didn't have to take 30 years to figure out how to do it. Why? Because I started studying the Bible in 2004, I started finding ways to do it. Because I started investing in myself through means of personal development and wealth training resources. Because I paid tens of thousands of pounds to go on courses with coaches who had already made multiple millions. Guess what? I discovered how to do it. And now I coach other people on how to do it. And for the last 12 years, my students have been changing gears. Let me say something. Let me finish the story. The story's not even over, but I need to give you the update on the story. That lady that met me in 2019 with £4 million worth of property and less than £3,000 coming in a month, today has over £87,000 coming into her bank account every single God blessed month. Now, I don't usually share her testimonial. I'm going to tell you why I don't usually share her testimonial. Because for most people, they're afraid to have that much money being made. But you guys are just, you're drawing this energy today, so I got to give it to you. That's her situation now. Her situation now is she makes over £1 million in cash flow every single 12 months. £87,000. Let me tell you something. In order for you to have £1 million a year in cash flow, you need to generate £83,333 per month. She generates in excess of £87,000 a month now. She didn't start there. Let me tell you where she started. She started with something inside her saying, I need to talk to this guy. Something inside her telling her, you know what, we need to go deeper. Something inside her giving her an urge to say, can I pay for us to go dinner, please? That's where she started. But that's not where she is right now. Do you guys understand the power of taking a step when you understand that money is directive? I need to direct it. I need to direct it, not neglect it. So the first thing we discovered is money is reflective. Someone write in the chat the word reflective. Let me see if you guys are with me. The second thing we discovered is money is directive. Someone write in the chat the word directive. So I know you guys are with me. So my encouragement to you is to focus on building directional dams. Focus on building directional dams. Focus on building directional dams, okay? His word, my peace. Let me know your name, please, just so I can address you properly, especially because you already hit the follow. His word, my peace says reflective, all right? This is the way I get to greet people appropriately when they jump on the live rather than just speak to people like I don't know who they are. This is Liz. Welcome, Liz. Welcome to the live, Liz. Liz, is this your first time or have you been here before? Let me know in the chat if this is your first time, if you've been here before. But regardless, congratulations, you are in the right place. Thank you for being a part of the live and welcome, all right? So Liz says reflective, okay? Let's go, all right? Liz has got her typing fingers on. Liz says directive, let's go, all right? So we found these first two principles, that money is reflective and money is directive, okay? Awesome. Welcome, Liz. Welcome, Liz. She says, yes, it is her first time. And she says, thank you. You are most welcome. You are most welcome. So we discovered money's reflective. We discovered money's reflective. We discovered money's reflective. We discovered money's directive. Now, first thing, what do we understand if money is reflective? We understand we need to stop trying to rub the mirror and we need to change what's being seen by the mirror. Okay? If it's reflective, what has to change is not the mirror. We don't have to change the world banking system. Why? Because there's people who have used the current world banking system to get more money with them. Okay? If this is making sense to someone, just put yes in the chat. Like, just think about it. This is why most people have problems. They try to change the whole world. Okay, let me tell you something mathematical, which you've never heard in a math lesson. It's easier to change you than to change everything outside of you. Someone needed to hear that. Okay? Femba, thank you for following the host. I want you to think about that. It's easier to change you. It's easier for you to pick up a book and take a look than it is to get everyone else in the world to pick up a book and try and take a look. I know, I've been trying for years. I used to be a teacher. I used to teach secondary and A-level maths, and then I became a teacher trainer. I wrote my dissertation in teaching. Look at this, right here. Tell me if I'm saying something false here, guys. Let's see if we're gonna get some focus. Okay, it's focusing on something. Oh, it's focusing on my hand. That's what we need, right? This is my Master of Teaching, 2016, 10 years ago, okay? I've tried getting the whole world to want to read. It's easier to make yourself succeed. Let me say it again in case you need to pick up a pen. I tried trying to get the whole world to read. It's easier you taking it upon yourself and helping yourself to succeed. This is most people's problem. Most people want their mum to become a millionaire and their dad to become a millionaire and their friend to become a millionaire and everyone else to become a millionaire before they even start working on trying to become a millionaire. Let me tell you something. It's easier for you to succeed than you attempting to get everyone else to read. So when you are the one who's able to succeed, guess what you're going to do? You're going to support all of them to get everything they need. Why? Because you will have your own oxygen mask on. Oh my gosh, someone hasn't been in a plane for a while. Let me tell you what happens when you jump on a plane. They give you the instructions and they tell you what? What do they tell you? They say, in case of an emergency, some people's finances is an emergency. True or false? Someone write in the chat, true, if some people's finances is an emergency. Someone write false if Samuel's just talking out of his head right now. Liz says, well done, I agree. But even with a PhD, you forget to apply until you hear stuff like this. Well, that's very true. That's very, very true. That can be very, very true, Liz, right? That can be very true. But here's the reality. It doesn't matter your level of qualification, because what they don't teach us is qualification is not true education. Okay? This is what changed my life. I studied 4 degrees and realized one day none of those degrees goes and gets £50,000 and comes to me and says, hey, Samuel, you don't have to work this year, because I've taken care of it. None of them. None of them. I've studied in some of the best universities, top 10 ranked in the world. And I'm telling you, none of those degrees do any of that. This is why Alan Sugar can have no degrees and be making more money than more than 90s. And when I say more than 90s, I mean more than 90% of people in the world. This is why they say Bill Gates left school early, but he didn't start making money late. I want you to think about this. Like, guys, look, I don't want to go into a rant, because if I go into a rant, I don't think I'll be able to come out of this one, because I've got very opinionated views on education, because I'm an educator. I'm an educator in the conventional sense. I just showed you my Masters of Teaching. I'm a master teacher, but I'm also an educator in a real sense. And let me tell you something that they don't tell you. Your qualifications are nothing in the world of money. Do you know why? Because the people who are the wealthiest have the least qualifications like you. And most people don't know this, but one of my coaches taught me this, and I think you deserve to learn this. So let me tell you this. The more qualifications you have, conventional qualifications that is, the harder it will be for you to create real wealth. I hope it's okay for me to tell you that today. Now, why is Samuel so adamant? Why am I getting amped and energetic to tell you this? Because that was my problem. My problem was I studied 4 degrees. I thought I knew. I didn't realize what those qualifications were out to do. I didn't realize that those qualifications, the longer you are in the conventional system, the more you are setting yourself up to be conventional. That's what it's for. That's the purpose of the system, to make you a lemming. Sorry guys, I don't know if I'm too old. Right? Does anyone know what lemmings are? If you do, just put yes in the chat. When computers first came out, right, there was a game called Lemmings. And what would happen in that game is everyone would just follow the person in front, follow the person in front, follow the person in front. The qualification is not the key to education. When my parents, who were immigrants to the UK, said to me when I was born, just go and get a good education, they were telling me the best they knew. But the best they knew didn't bring the currency through. And I'm going to tell you why it didn't bring the currency through. Because the best they knew was not founded on actually the foundational principles. What are the foundational principles? The foundational principles is this thing is reflective. Go do your research. Guess what you'll find? The people with the most education have the hardest time keeping their wealth. The people with the most education, doctors, lawyers, solicitors, are the people struggling. You got financial advisors who need advice. Oh, someone tell me if I'm right or wrong. Why do you think financial advisors need advice? Because the system is telling them how to deal with finances, instead of them understanding how to truly deal with finances. Oh, there's a book, guys. Like I said, I'm not preaching today, but there's a book, guys. If you just take a look, guys, it will tell you how to make sure you don't become a crook, guys. Let's go deeper. So we said that we discovered money is reflective. We've also discovered that money is directive. And I gave you my admonition based on the fact that money is directive, and that is focus on creating directional dams and not on embracing depleting drains. Okay? There are things that are going to drain your money dry. But there are also directional dams that will cause your money to go sky high. Focus on the right ones. Focus on the right ones. Focus on the right ones. Let me give you this little key, right? Don't try to store it. Okay? You see, I know some of the stuff I'm sharing with you guys is like countercultural. School told you do not listen to someone saying stuff like what I'm saying. But let me tell you something. If everything they told you in school was correct, why are you still living in a place of disrespect? Why is your bills still walking up in your house without you inviting them and slapping you and saying, yo, give me a T. Give me an E. Give me an A. Like, how are bills gonna be disrespecting you? How pieces of paper with red headings gonna be? I'm gonna tell you how. Because you are doing everything they told you in school. So let me tell you one thing they told you in school, which is actually a broken rule. Do not try to store it. Samuel, what do you mean do not try to store it? I love my savings account. Okay. What happens when you try to store water in a container? Does anyone know? Someone tell me in the chat what happens. If you have water and you allow water to be stagnant, you remove the element of the current from water, okay? Because water was created to flow. Water was created to flow. What do you think money was created to do? It was created to flow, cash flow. The Bible tells us the secret. You know what the Bible tells us? It says, give and it'll be given unto you. But it says the way it's given unto you is better than the way you gave it. How can that be the case? I'll tell you why. Because money is just like water. When you give someone water, guess what happens? That person feels like they need to get you some water. That person goes and tells other people, hey, listen, there's a guy out here, Samuel I Can Win. He's giving us something to drink. So guess what? Everybody wants to now get him something to drink. It's a reciprocal relationship. Why? Because money is reflective and money is directive. Oh, someone's catching it now. When you try to hold water in one place, let me tell you what happens. It goes stale. Let's go. Liz got it. It goes stale. Okay? Damien said it. It gets stagnant. You guys are getting this. Okay? Look at this. It starts to smell, Liz said. Oh, guys, the same thing happens with your money. I asked at the start of the live. I said, how many of you have felt like no matter how much money you get, it pours through your hands. It just seems to flow through your hands. Do you know why that is? Because you are using school tactics to achieve non-school outcomes. Oh, you ain't heard that before. Sorry. It's only my coaching clients who get that stuff. You're using school tactics to achieve non-school outcomes. Who's ever gone to a school and they talk to you in school about financial freedom? Sorry, that answer was wrong and you do not get any consolation prizes. There is no school teaching you about financial freedom. There's no school teaching you about financial independence. So what does that mean? Let me tell you what it means. It means you cannot use school tactics to achieve non-school outcomes. If you want to achieve an outcome that school doesn't talk about, you have to start using rules, practices, precepts, principles that schools do not even think about. Don't try to store it. Instead, guide and steer it. Don't try to store it. Instead, guide and steer it. Money is best created when you use systems over savings. Now, I did not plan to do this example, but would you like a quick example of how what I explained with money and water about trying to store it, what that looks like with money in most people's lives? If you would, just write in the comments, I would, okay? And I'll give you a quick example of that, right? Now, for sake of you guys not taking too long to come to that, let's go to the third, if we have the time, of these. I said we hopefully try and get through 3. Let's jump into number 3. Again, I don't have all the time to keep on going into all of these guys on this live, but for those of you who love this stuff, you're hearing this stuff, you're like, Samuel, you know what? I need more. I need to be in a dedicated room where I can actually get trained on the stuff you're talking about. Come and join our cash flow creation challenge. We have a 5-day cash flow creation challenge where we are going to challenge you for 5 days, okay? We're going to challenge you. Challenge you to do what? To discover how to uncover cash flow like never before. Day 1, we cover cash flow creation science. I literally show you the science of creating cash flow. Day 2, we cover the cash flow creation strategies. I show you multiple strategies you can use today for your financial accounts to get paid. Day 3, we cover cash flow creation skills. I literally do tutorials on day 3 showing you exactly what to do to make the cash flow real. Day 4, we cover cash flow creation systems. I show you multiple systems that you can use in order to infuse your financial future. And on day 5, we cover cash flow creation success. I show you how to make the mechanisms and mechanics of what I showed you for the first 4 days literally last for the rest of your life so you can keep getting paid, okay? That's of interest to you, direct message me, Samuel, I'm in. You can only direct message me on the black platform and the purple and orange platform or the blue platform, I think, right? But just send me a message. Hey, Samuel, I'm in. Let me join the 5-day cash flow creation challenge. I'm in, right? Now, just so you know, there's a financial investment involved, okay? For those of you who are going to say, oh, hey, Samuel, I just thought it was $3.99. Okay, well, as the Bible says, if you sow sparingly, you will reap sparingly. But if you sow bountifully, you will reap bountifully. Thank you for those of you in the back who are like, yeah, I've read that verse before. I read that verse before. That's how it works, guys. That's how it works. I'm not making this stuff up. That's how it works. Let's go deeper. All right, so no one asked for that example, so that's good, so we can keep moving, right? So we said money is reflective, money is directive. Now, let me give you the third one because this is one that most people are not ready for. This is one that most people are not ready for, but this is the one you need to get ready for, okay? If you take the stuff I've shared with you and you utilize it and you stop attempting to change the mirror, but you start changing the person in the mirror, okay? If you start doing this, Liz, thank you for the donation. We appreciate you. And everyone else on this live, guys, if you hear something you like, hit the button that says like. If you want to be a part of the tribe, why not subscribe? If you hear something in here that you know will be helpful to someone out there, then don't be shy. Hit the button that says share and let the people out there know that you care because you'll want them to hear something that's happening in here. Okay? All right? And I think that's all of the stuff. Now, the first thing we discovered is money is reflective. The second thing we discovered is money is directive. And I assure you, if you attempt to start to do what I've shown you to do in this live, you are going to find out the third of these 3 things for you to thrive. Okay? And those of you who are going to be with us on the 5-day cash flow creation challenge we got coming up, you are going to definitely be working on number 3, at least. Watch this. Because money is like water. It's not only reflective, it's not only directive, money is also connective. Now, you might be thinking, Samuel, money is connective. How does that work? I'm so glad you asked. Let's jump into this. Proverbs 19, okay? I'm gonna give you a verse so you can see this for yourself, okay? Proverbs chapter 19. I'm gonna read something to you for you to help you see how this works. Now, there's so much here. Let me just read it, okay? Calm down. I'm getting excited, okay? And the reason I'm getting excited is because when I see that I've shared things that can liberate people from the cycle of sameness, I get excited. Let me tell you why I get excited. Because you get the opportunity to be like James, one of my students who, when he first started working with me, he had 2 properties. after investing over £30,000 working with several different coaches in the country. He had 2 properties making him £600 a month. I want you to think about that. Think about investing tens of thousands of pounds, and at the end, the only thing you have to show for it is £600 a month. That was James's story when he met me. When James decided to join our 5-day cash flow creation week, that was James's story. Who wants to know James's story now? Someone write in the chat the word now. Because now James doesn't live in the UK anymore. Now James is not single anymore. Now James is not working for the medical sales company he was working for before, because now James has changed his story. James was able, after going through our 5-day cash flow creation challenge, was able to shift his income from £600 per month from his 2 properties and £4,000 per month from his job in medical sales to generating over £4,500 a month from the exact same 2 properties he had before he came to work with us. We showed him keys on how he could become free. Now, here's the thing. The money's one thing. The money's not even the most important thing. Let me tell you the thing that gets me excited. I'm a married man, happily married for 14 years. Let me tell you what gets me excited. What gets me excited is when James came to our training, he was single. You know why? Because he spent his whole time, his overtime, his undertime, and any time at work. But the moment he was able to become financially free, James started doing the stuff he actually liked. James started hiking. He started going to the gym more. He started going full-time into property. He started doing what he desired. And guess what happened? He met the wife that he required. James was able to get married in November, December of 2024 because of the fact that he was no longer working for an employer anymore. He was able to free himself using the principles, the practices, and the precepts that we share on the 5-day cash flow creation week. Now, after he got married, guess what he said? He said to his wife, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay here? She said, no, I want to move somewhere else. Guess what they did? They flew and moved somewhere else. If you would love for stories like James's story to be your story, just write in the comments, I would. Just write in the comments, I would. Because I want you to understand, these are real people, guys. These are real people. Real people that we've helped move further, faster in their future. Why? By just sharing these principles. This is why I get excited. This is why I get excited. Because when I start thinking about, hold on a minute, we might have another James here. Hold on a minute, we might have another Amanda here. Hold on a minute, we might have another Prince here. Hold on a minute. Guys, I get excited. I get excited because I realize the potential for true life change once you take hold of it. I love that. Liz says she's too old to relocate, laugh out loud, but she wants to be financially free. Liz, let me give you this word of encouragement. It is never too late to relocate. Okay? It's never too late to relocate. The only reason someone will think it's too late to relocate is because they're actually subconsciously conscious of resources. If you had an abundance of resources, I am assuring you, you might say to yourself, actually, Samuel, you know what? I never knew that I could actually elevate to this position. Now I'm at this position. I'm not too old to relocate. It's never too late. It's never too late. So have that as an encouragement, Liz. All right, let's jump in. Where are we going? We were talking about the 3rd characteristic. We said, let's go. Money is like water, so money is reflective. Money is like water, so money is directive. And then the last one I said is money is, or for the sake of the time, the last one, money is like water, so money is connective. And I said, let's go to Proverbs 19. So we're going to do 19:4. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 4. Proverbs 19, verse 4, powerful verse. Listen to what it says. It says, wealth maketh many friends, but the poor is separated from his neighbor. Oh, so rich. I'm going to read that again in case you need to pick up your pen. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 4. It says, wealth maketh many friends. but the poor is separated from his very neighbor. What does that mean? That means literally resources, revenue, cash, money allows you to be deeply and more deeper connected. Wealth and money is just like water. And the same way water is reflective, money is reflective. The same way water is directive, money is directive. And the same way water is connective, money is connective. So I know you might have been thinking to yourself, you know what, how comes I can't spend time with friends? How comes I can't spend time with family? I've got this grandchild. I want to spend more time with my grandchild. I want to spend more time with my nephews, my nieces. I'm going to tell you why you can't. Because of money. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it says something very profound. Most preachers hide this verse from their congregation. It says, money answereth all things. So when you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself, can you have breakfast? As someone who's retired at the age of 70, money will answer that question. And my hope and my prayer for you today is that you don't wait until you're in that place before you decide to change your place in the race. We're going to open it up. I'll take a few questions. We'll open it up. What questions do you guys have? We'll take a few questions just for the sake of time allotted, and then we're going to wrap up for this live. If you got value in this live, just write the word value in the chat. If you got value in this live, just write the word value in the chat. I'm going to put on a quick timer. Let's go for 5. Let's do 5 minutes, and we'll take some questions. If you guys have questions, throw your questions in the chat. What questions do you guys have? What questions do you have? What questions do you have? What questions do you have? Let's go. All right, Liz says value. Let's go, Liz. So glad that you were able to get value from this live. Let's go. Damien says value. Awesome, Damien. So glad you were able to get value from this live. All right, we got a 5-minute timer, guys. So that gives you a bit of time to think about your question, word your question, get your question in. But guys, I say this often, right? Don't waste time. If you're someone who has a question, get your question in right now. I usually do not even answer questions out here online like this because literally I have coaching clients who pay handsomely. They book strategy calls, £5,495 for 60 minutes in order for them to get their questions answered from me. So guys, take advantage of your advantages. This is one of the things I say to my clients. Use this time right now. If you have questions, throw your questions in, get your questions answered so you can move further faster in your future. And for those of you who will be joining us on our upcoming 5-day cash flow creation challenge, just so you know, if you are a VIP, you get an extra Q&A session with me every day of the 5 days. We do 60 minutes of Q&A just for the VIPs. That's part of the VIP experience. So you guys are in a different environment. You have a different, it's completely different. So let's go. All right, first question in comes from Liz. So you referred to properties. What about people who don't have any property yet? People who don't have any property yet are kind of my favorite people to work with. People like Aisha. Aisha's one of my current existing coaching clients. Aisha, right now, as we speak, I think she's still in Jamaica. She's either in Jamaica or just come back. Aisha is traveling, right? Because we have showed her how to switch lanes and make her finances super plain. So our whole thing, Liz, is helping people create consistent and then colossal cash flow using resources and revenues hidden in plain sight. Property is the first industry that I use to replace my income, and I also use to replace my wife's income. But it's not the only industry that we leverage. We literally help people just generally elevate their income. So if you are interested in that, it's not about how many properties you've got. It's really just about how willing you are to start to win, okay? How willing you are to start to win. And that's why we have the lights here all of the time, reminding people that this is our thing. We're here to help you to win, all right? So hopefully that helps, Liz. And that's how we do it. We help people move further faster in their future. All right. Liz says, okay, thank you. Most welcome, Liz. You are most welcome. All right. His word, my peace. His word, my peace. That's a beautiful name, Liz. Just so you know, that's a beautiful name. She says, so Samuel, do you coach them? The answer to that is 100% yes. I am a cash flow creation coach. I help people move further faster in their future, literally by teaching them principles, precepts, and practices that I have discovered and uncovered, either by mentor millionaires and coaches I've had over the years, or in most predicaments from the literal pages of the Bible. Because one of the things I discovered in around 2015 was 99% of what I was learning from many coaches who I'd paid tens of thousands of pounds was actually inside of the Bible. I just hadn't, prior to that, I had spent a lot of time reading it, but I hadn't seen the principles as clearly as they were there. And then when I started paying these coaches tens of thousands of pounds, these coaches would say, you should do this. And then I'd go and do it, and then it would work. And then I'd find a few days later, a week later, a month later, sometimes a year later, I'm reading the Bible and I see the same thing in there. Oh, you should do this. And I'm like, why didn't I just find this from the scripture? And that's what made me really take my Bible reading even more seriously and more studiously, to start finding the application of the implications of all of these biblical foundations. So Liz, that's what we do. That's how we help people. That's how we can help you. So hopefully that helps you as well. All right, guys, any last questions? We're in the last minute. Any last questions? We are in the last minute for you guys to jump in it. We are in the last minute. What questions do you guys have? Feel free to throw your questions inside of the chat and we'll be able to answer them at that. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let me see if there's anything else in terms of questions for us to keep on being able to grow. Let's go. All right, so we're boiling down to the last 30 seconds. It doesn't look like there'll be any more questions. I don't know. Let's see. Give people the time and don't take it from them with a rhyme. Let's go. All right, guys, good stuff. So here's what I'm going to ask for you guys. I would love for you guys to share with me, if you have no other questions, your biggest learning from today's live. What stood out to you in today's live? What did you hear in this live that was like, wow, Samuel, that's going to help me, or Samuel, I'm going to take that to the bank, or Samuel, you know what, I can use that, or Samuel, that's a small key that's going to open a big door for me. So I'd love for you guys to share with me inside of the chat, so I can also know what was of value to you, and I can also know I can help more people like you going further, faster, and going forward too. All right, Liz says money is like water. I love that. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for sharing, Liz. That's also so powerful. Liz is even sharing more. This is good. She said the 3 points you shared about money. Money is reflective, money is directive, and money is corrective. I love that. Absolutely amazing. Liz is sharing. She says that was a revelation, and using the Bible. Thank you. Well, all I've got is the Bible. That's all I've got. I've seen how that book literally creates I'm gonna say it because like I don't like saying this without teaching on it, because when I say it without teaching on it, I feel like people don't have the adequate foundation to understand what I'm saying. But because of what you said, Liz, it's touched me so much, I have to be this transparent. That book, the Bible, this book right here, okay, this book right here creates miracles. And the thing that people don't realize is miracles work, but the reason you call them miracles is because you don't know how they work. Okay, and I've like with my coaching clients, I've got a whole like training program that I run with them, teaching them about how miracles work and how most people don't know how they work. So you call it a miracle, okay, because you don't know how it works. If someone, like I'll give you an example, that lady that asked me to go with her to dinner and ended up becoming one of my coaching clients in 2019, she didn't know how the miracle of her making £1 million in cash flow each year works. But it did work, and I knew how it worked. So guess what? I showed her how it worked, and then she was able to work it. Now, she has friends, she has family who look at her and say the way she turned around her finances was a miracle. You see, James, who I spoke about earlier, people look at James and say, yo, the way this guy became financially free was a miracle. You see, Prince, that's one of my students I didn't even talk about. Prince, the way he was able to replace his wife's income, his wife, Sandra, who works as or used to work as a midwife. He said to me, Samuel, if you could just help me replace Sandra's income, I will do anything. Just show me how I can replace her income. Her income was £2,500 a month. We helped him replace her income. And then, guess what? People look at Prince and say, yo, what you're doing, it's a miracle. Let me tell you something. Miracles work The only reason you call them miracles is because you don't know how they work. The moment you know how they work, you stop calling them miracles and you start performing miracles, or what people think are miracles. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that helps. Damien says, similarity between money and water and the mirror analogy. I love that. Damien, let me just share this, right? That mirror analogy is one of the things that will change your life if you truly apply it to life. Because it's not just our money. So Damien, thank you for sharing that. That's super powerful. Because it's not just our money. There are so many areas in our life where things are reflective. And what we do is we keep trying to move the stain on the mirror instead of just change the shirt that we're wearing. We keep trying to brush the teeth of the mirror instead of going to just brush our own teeth. We keep trying to brush the hair of the mirror. And we're wiping the brush on the mirror and it feels strange. Let me tell you why it feels strange, because that's not how you brush hair. So I'm so glad that was of value to you. Liz says, word. So glad that you're getting value being in this environment, Liz. All right, guys, well, look, as we wrap up, you know what to do. I'm going to say it again, just so I've said it to you. If you found this of value, feel free to hit the like button. If you know that you care, feel free to hit share and share the words we've shared in here with someone else out there. Side by side with that, if you're on the red platform, hit subscribe, become a part of our tribe. If you're on the black platform, you know what to do. I'll see you on another live. And with that being said, guys, regardless of the platform you are meeting us on, it's been a pleasure to add value to you, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. And by the grace of God, from the top, at the top, should I say, and not from the top, as we all remember that small keys like these open up big doors. And I'll see you on the next one. Good day, God bless. Let's go.